Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, March 4th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's in open in about 9 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Got a couple of things here to update and we should be good to go. All right. Okay. All right. Looks good. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. And we should be good to go. There we go. All right, as people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start market liquidity over here. Like not too much volatility this morning. Going down to the 8 hour. Down to the 4 hour. Going down to the 2 hour. Down to the 1 hour. Down to the 30-minute. Change this to red. Down to the 15-minute. Down to the 10-minute. And looks like we're good to go. All right, so down to the 1 minute here. As you guys can see, I've marked up liquidity from the daily down to the 10-minute. Closest level of liquidity is currently right where price is at right now. So if you guys are looking to get that lower level right here is going to be at 38,906. Level below that's going to be at 38,892. And the level above is going to be at 39,050. So there goes liquidity right there if you guys are looking to take that. Here is our clean chart. I'm going to mark up 6:30. Mark at 8 o'clock. I'm going to go on the 4 hour time frame. Identify structure. It's got some support and resistance right there. Going down to the 1 hour. I'll just leave it as is. There's this support that's starting to establish right here. I'll just start right here, I guess. The same one from last week. All right. So there's nothing that's close by, but the closest level of support is going to be down here. This is going to be the 1 hour support. And it looks like we are good to go. So let me just put 1 hour support here. Our support level. But it's kind of far from price. So we'll see what happens here on open. So, all right, guys, there goes our clean chart. Now over here at our main chart, quick. I don't think there was news today. There's the Fed speaking at 8 o'clock. That's pretty much it. So there's not really much news today that we really need to worry about or be concerned about. I think we're pretty much good on that. Retail sentiment right now is currently 69% short, indicating that 69% of retail traders are currently selling. And I think that's about it. So we probably want to look for some buys today, but we'll see if the market gives us that. Otherwise, there's not really too much to work with here. Volatility is kind of low. ATR is at 8 right now. So we'll see what happens here when the market opens in the next 3 minutes. So good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, March 4th. It is 6:27 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes. It's also NFP week. Thanks, Josh, for the heads up. Let's see who's here in the room so far. So morning, Daniel. Morning, Maria. Morning, Johnny. Yeah, no, nice, man. Johnny's over there in Vietnam right now, trading on vacation. So hopefully the run's pretty solid for you out there. Morning, William. Morning, Shannon. Morning, Maddie. Morning, Aryan. Morning, Funmi. Morning, Jake. Morning, Jeff. Morning, everybody. Morning, CJ. All right, guys. So market is starting to pick up a little bit. As you guys can see, the volatility here is starting to move a bit better. Let's update this a little bit. There we go. The ATR down below. All right, so it looks like we're good to go, guys. Market is about to open in about 2 minutes. We have, well, unfortunately, we can't have an entry here, but this would have been the breakout V3. There's a double wick rejection, buy signal, green candle. This would be the breakout V3 entry right here if it was pre-market or if it was going to happen when the market opened, but unfortunately, it already happened. So it's not going to be one that we take, but this is the breakout V3 pre-market. So we'll see what happens here when the market actually opens. And we'll see if we get another opportunity from there. All right. Let's see. All right, guys. So market is about to open in about 10 seconds. We'll see what happens when market opens here. Volatility started to pick up a little bit. It's currently at 10 ATR. Looking over here at the PRB. So the PRB over here would be for a sell. I mean, if it ends up providing opportunity, but looks like price is probably going to push up here on open. So market is now open, guys. I'm going to go and mark up opening price right here. So there goes the opening price. We don't have any entry here yet, so I'm kind of just waiting. I'll come back to the PRB. There's no opportunity there yet, but if it swings back down, then there may be opportunity for a setup here for the PRB. The trend's currently bearish, so if price does swing back down, there may be opportunity for entry, but at the moment right now, specifically, there's no opportunity for entry. Also, for the breakout V3 over here, we need to look for a double body, double wick rejection for that V1 pattern. And once we get that, we can start looking for a V1 as well, or for a breakout V3. Here is our main chart. All right, so liquidity didn't get hit yet. Looks like we'll get that double body right here. So we're getting a nice double body rejection up top. So we might be setting up for a sell breakout V3. But this candle has to close with that double body. Until it closes, there's not going to be any opportunity there. And we'll see where this goes from here. There's no PRB because the trend hasn't been confirmed yet. Looks like that high there is no longer there. So there's no longer a double body. And again, we are just waiting for this here to provide us some opportunity. All right, so price is climbing up. PRB over here looks like it could possibly be pushing up and setting up for a possible buy. Price is pushing up to liquidity up top. So this is like a typical Monday. You guys have seen from previous Mondays, we typically get like this really big bullish push. It doesn't always hold, so we might get a swing back down and back to open price here, but we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, so price is trying to get up to liquidity. That's target price point right there. So price continues to climb up. That's probably where it's going to hit. It might come up and just fake out up there and come back down. Or price might just keep climbing, knocking out liquidity, and then coming back down. A lot of different scenarios here that can play out. My target price point is going to be liquidity for price to keep pushing up higher like that. Yeah, still climbing. It's probably going to aim for liquidity and the sessions up there. It's probably where it's going to want to push up and reject off. All right, so looking over here at the PRB, the trend hasn't confirmed yet. But once the trend confirms here with the pivots, you can probably start looking for buys here for the PRB. For the breakout V3, there's still no opportunity here because there's no double body, double wick. So once we get that double body, double wick, we can start looking for a trade in that direction. But at the moment, we just don't have anything. You can see over here is not a double body. It's still pretty flat. And there we go. As price gets to the sessions right there, you can see how it's rejecting directly off the sessions. Did exactly what we expected. Price pushed up, rejected off the sessions. And then right here, price can easily come back down or it can keep climbing. So this is an area where you can identify something to happen, right? You can see right here, we're starting to get a double body. So this could be a reversal right here. There we go, the double body. There we go. Price did exactly what I just mentioned earlier. So I said price is probably going to push up, hit the session, hit the liquidity, and come back down, right? Exactly what happened right there. So it's the same pattern. It's nothing new here. I mean, we've seen this before. And there we go. As price starts to come down super hard. So PRB is still not set up because the trend isn't confirmed yet. Still waiting for this here to confirm. Once the level 4 pivot here gets above or below all the other pivots, then you can probably start looking for a buy. But right now, there's no confirmation yet. So here it goes. Price comes down super hard off the liquidity and off the sessions, mainly the sessions right here. You guys can see how strong the sessions is and why it's important to avoid trades around the sessions because stuff like this happens. So let's see, retail sentiment is now 71% short. A lot of people are hopping onto the sells. You might want to be careful, not chase those sells. This price is probably just going to keep climbing up. So we got this right here. Just want to be a little careful. If anything, price might come back down to opening price right here. CNBC just reported 2 breaking news. So it says Dow falls more than 100 points. That's probably explaining the push to the upside. And then it might probably correct again and just swing back up higher. So we'll see. But it's all right. There's no rush here. Not really any rush here. So just got to stay tight and wait for the opportunity here to come up. Trend still here hasn't confirmed. So still no opportunity here for any PRBs. The VV3 hasn't set up yet either. So we're looking for a sell signal here, basically. We already have the break. We have the V1 pattern, which is a double body up there. We're now looking for confirmation back down. But it's pretty mixed right now. So there's not really any certain direction to look out for. The 1 minute over here is bullish. 5 minute here is bearish. 10 minutes bearish. 30 minutes bearish. 1 hour is attempting to swing to bearish. 4 hours still bullish. So there's a lot of different ways price can go here. We do have a sell signal here that's currently pending. So this sell signal has to close. Once it closes, we can possibly start looking for any opportunities here. The PRB still doesn't have the confirmed trend yet. So until the trend's been confirmed, there's nothing for us to really look at there at the moment. So I think main thing here to look out for probably this BB3. This price might climb back down to opening price. But again, sell signal has to close. Does not look like it's going to close here. And there's no sell signal. So there's no opportunity there for a BB3, at least not yet. Trend here still hasn't confirmed, so no PRB either. And there's just no other entries available right now. If you guys are looking for the main scalps, you'll be looking for some buys here because the trend is bullish. So you might want to look for price to swing down and swing back up. But there's still no opportunity here just yet. Trend hasn't confirmed yet, so still nothing there. If this candle here closes green, then this is probably going to confirm the trend, and you can start looking for a buy for a PRB. Personally, I think I'd rather go for a buy here. I think price is going to swing back up, so I'm not really looking for well, I mean, if the BB3 comes up for a sell, I'm going to take it, but I prefer it to be a buy. So we'll see. We have the sell signal here again pending. It did not close, so there's no breakout B3 coming up anytime soon. At least not yet. As you guys can see, the volatility is starting to die down a little bit. Let's see how far price is from open. It's about 45 points. So it's not super far, but it's also not super close. So here goes. Price continues to swing around a bit. Let's see if the trend here is confirmed yet. So it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, I guess you could say the trend has confirmed here. It's like very, very close. If you look close to these pivots right here, the red pivot's like barely below it. So if you guys are looking for the PRB, you're looking for price to reject off one of the pivots here, off the bottom end, only bottom end, not the top end. So see if we could find that. If not, then just have to keep waiting. Still no sell signal. The sell signal is still pending. Looks like we might get a double body rejection right here. Yeah, if this candle closes green, it's going to be a double body rejection. We need that sell signal to reset the momentum, though. So we'll see if this here swings back up. So if this here closes green, we'll get a double body rejection. I'm hoping we get that sell signal. I actually want the sell signal to close here so that when price climbs up, we'll get a buy signal and we'll write it back up. So I want the sell signal to close, even if it's invalid. I want it to close, and then I want the next candle to be green, so there's no entry here for a sell. All right, so we got the sell signal right there. It's doing exactly what we anticipated. It's what I wanted. So I need this next candle here to close green. If it closes red, it's going to be the breakout B3 for a sell. But if it closes green, then it's not going to be an entry. So this is a little tricky, but we need this to be a green candle. If not, this is going to be a sell for the breakout B3, which I'm going to take, unfortunately, but and we'll see how it closes. So we need this candle here to close green. If not, if it's red, it's going to be an entry for the breakout B3, guys. So just a heads up. Got like 20 seconds left on it. You have to wait for it to actually close. So we got 10 seconds left on this candle here. Again, if the candle closes red, this is the breakout B3, guys. Got about 3 seconds left. 2, 1, entry for the breakout B3.
Order filled.
I'm in the position. So right here's the breakout B3 entry, guys. If you guys want to take it, feel free. If you don't want to, it's fine. You guys don't need to take it. But I have to take every entry that comes in because that's the only way that I can test this to make sure that everything here lines up properly. So this is the breakout B3 entry. Let's see, it's at the 50 mark. Yeah, if it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out, but that is the entry for the breakout B3. There's no PRB here yet. Price is pretty much just going sideways. Now we're getting a buy signal. It looks like my stop's gonna get hit, but it's okay. This is what I was hoping for. I was hoping that we wouldn't get a red candle there. Looks at my stop. Yeah, so I'm stopped out. It is what it is. I had to take the trade. That's the only way that we can test this properly. So if you guys took it, it's fine. I took it, ate the loss on that. But this is the entry that I was actually looking for. I was looking for the low to establish here, the buy signal, and the green candle to follow it after. So unfortunately, there's a stop. The loss was here for the breakout B3, and that's pretty much it for me. So if this here closes with the buy signal and a green candle after, this is going to be a breakout B3 continuation. So if you want to take the next one here for a continuation, you guys can. Let's see if I can fix this here. You know, I don't know why so sometimes it's kind of weird because the trade evade doesn't work on my end when making the noise. I was hoping it would make the noise, but it didn't on this time. All right, so if this candle here closes green, like I said earlier, it's going to be the breakout B3 continuation. And that was the setup that I was actually looking for. I mean, it's all good. The entry came up here and I had to take it because that's just how the strategy is, right? It's not always going to hit. Sometimes the setup that you're actually looking for doesn't come up, and sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. So it's not looking like we're going to get that green candle there. Let's see. Or am I last second? No. So there's no green candle there. There's no breakout B3. Looking over here at the PRB, there's still no PRB entry either. So let's see where we're at. Yeah, it seems like we had that big push right here on open, and then price came back for the retracement, and it looks like price is attempting to swing back up higher. It's just not really having that push right now. We'll keep looking for any other scalps that come up. There's not really much here to look at. There's still the V1 pattern right here, so that's still provide opportunity for any other buys that might come up here, which there's just nothing here at the moment. ATR is currently at 20. There's no PRB entry. There was a pivot scalp right there for anybody who decided to take that. So that's the only entry that came up. There's a buy signal here. Obviously, trend was bullish. This would be considered the original pivot scalp entry. Also, a momentum scalp entry. You can see it's matching the trend meter. So there's two entries that came up on this candle right here. This was a pivot scalp for a buy, and then it was also a momentum scalp. Trend meter down below is green, so they just kind of lined up. There's a confluence there on multiple ends for a buy entry. So here we go as price climbs back up. This is the setup that we're looking for price to come back and retest this upper resistance. And that's kind of what's happening here. There just wasn't a setup for us for the breakout that allowed us to take that entry there. Even for the continuation, this candle here didn't close green, so there was no other opportunity there to follow up with it. All right, so price is coming back up to liquidity up here. Looks like it may be attempting to break through it and climb up to the next level at that 50 mark. Seen a lot of people try to catch this for like a quick little liquidity push, which I could see happening. This would be the second touch. So we talked about this last week during the mentoring session. You know, like Nathan, what he does is he looks for a third touch. So there's gonna be a second touch right here. The second touch might push right through, and then goes a second touch right there, and it might just push through to the next level. What Nathan typically does is he looks for that third touch. So we have one touch here, two touch here, and he'll be looking for that third touch before he makes entry. It's also right next to the sessions though, so that's kind of tricky. So 1-2 touch, and then maybe on the third one, it'll actually push through, which is pretty smart. I mean, if the market's ranging, then you want to wait for multiple touches. And on that third touch, it's typically going to break through. Nice. So Kenneth's done for the day. He just took a couple of trades. He got another funded account. So big congrats to Kenneth over here for his next funded. I think you have like 4 accounts now, right, Kenneth? Or 5 or 6? I know you have a whole bunch. 5, yeah, I figured. Awesome. Yeah. So Kenneth is now funded 5 accounts with Apex. So big congrats to Kenneth there, getting that done. So here goes the third touch right here for liquidity, like I mentioned right now, guys. It's just kind of tricky with how price is currently moving. But that would be the third touch right there. Or 2.5, I guess. This one here didn't actually break through. It touched it, but it didn't break through. So this right here would be liquidity that'd be running. But again, I don't really take liquidity, so it's just up to your guys' preference if you want to take it. Otherwise, here's a clean chart. I'm going to go to markup structure here. So we have the 1-minute resistance right there. And the 1-minute support. So we got 1-minute resistance level there. Support level. And there we go. It's the liquidity that's pushing back up. So let's mark it back up right there. So you guys can see the liquidity there is still running. I'm not in the position, but I just marked it up for you guys to see. Other than that, there's a PRB that's starting to set up here as well. So we have one rejection right there. We're looking for space consolidation, and then now looking for the next opportunity for price to continue going in that direction. All right, so there goes liquidity. If you guys took liquidity there, full TP, it's pretty much, this is exactly how Nathan applies it. Yeah, Nathan just said it hit. Did you take that one, Nathan? It did exactly what he was looking for. So you had first touch, second touch, third touch for his entry, shot right through. Nice. Yeah, so Nathan caught that, got his full TP. And it's good. I mean, it's better to be safe than sorry, guys, like especially when the market's kind of going sideways a bit. Like right now, it's in a big range. It's not really moving directional, as you guys can see. So here's our clean chart. Price is really just in a big range right now. It's like between this level and this level right here. Huge range. Price finally broke out of it. It's moving directional, but it's still in a range. Because if it was moving super directional, it would just keep climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. But with this here, it's not really climbing like that. It's pushing up, going down, pushing back up. And it's just doing that, right? And here we go to fake out right back down below. So this is clearly in a range. Price faked out above here off the resistance, and now it pulled right back into the range. So the range here is pretty obvious. So here goes the inch right there. The PRB might be setting up. So if you guys are looking to take the PRB, I'm not taking the PRB, guys. It's just heads up. So this is the PRB right here. It's currently now running in profit, well, slightly. So this is the PRB entry right here. I'm not taking it because I'm only taking the breakout V3 now. So I'm going to leave this as is, but this is the PRB entry if anybody is looking to take that. Again, the only entry I'm taking is the breakout V3 here. Unfortunately, breakout V3 didn't play through. I pretty much used up the majority of my allotted margin for the day for this one trade. So I'm not taking any other trades here, of course. I just take a full contract side on this, and that's pretty much it for me. just once a day trade for me, and it typically balances out. Like last week, we weren't. I'll just mark this up real quick as a loss. So yeah, like I said last week, I just took one trade, or we took a couple trades, and you can see my profits. Like we had some losing days. Obviously, we had losing days. We had some break-even days, but then at the end of the week, so I had a losing week, and then by the end of the week, I ended up with some profit right there, and then we closed out the week strong with about 30,000, 32,000 in profit. So for me, I'm playing the numbers game here, playing the numbers game, and I just got to keep playing it until the numbers turn in our favor, which they probably will later on. So here's the PRB entry, guys. It's now pushing up in profit. Price looks like it might be pushing up to the next level of liquidity right there. So like I was saying before, if you take both the PRB and you take the breakout V3, they're usually going to balance out, right? So if you took both for today, so if you took the BV3, you would have lost this trade, and if you took the PRB over here, you would have won the trade. So you would have balanced out. You would have had one win, one loss. Today would have been break even, right? For me personally, this is what I was doing originally, but it was like almost every day was break even. So it was like never really working out for us. So for me personally, I'm not going to be doing that anymore because I'd rather just have a loss for the day rather than just keep breaking even. And the other problem here too was that if the trade was running in opposite directions, I wouldn't be able to take both. So that's the main reason why I'm not taking both of these entries anymore. But you can see over here, if you did take both the PRB and the BV3, today would have been a break-even day for you, like what I was doing originally. The only problem here is if we get a buy and we get a sell here and they're running at the same time, then we're kind of screwed because we could only have one entry, right? So in order for us to prevent us getting caught in those situations, you just got to choose one or the other. It's like you either want to take the PRB or you want to take the BV3, or you want to just take something else that's a lot quicker that you can get in and out within that period. So if you guys take the PRB, nice work, guys, full TP right here. So looking at the entries for today, there was one entry right here for the pivot scalp and momentum scalp. That's two entries right there for two wins. The PRB over here also hit full TP for a win right there. This over here, we had the BV3, so this would have been a loss. And then liquidity over here would have hit as well, the first liquidity down here. So here's the first one. We're looking for this to pull back, and we're now looking for this to swing back up for the second and third touch for the liquidity, similar to what Nathan's doing. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here, guys. Depending on which strategy you wanted to take, there's a lot of different opportunities here. The BV3, PRB, pivot scalp, momentum scalp. There was also a high-low scalp right here too, but it was at the session, so obviously we wouldn't take that trade. And yeah, that's about it for right now. So yeah, if there's any questions, guys, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll keep looking for some more entries here. It's about to be 7 o'clock, so we got about an hour till 8, so we still have a lot of time. But for me personally, I don't have any more opportunities to trade. I'll just be analyzing for any other entries that may come up from now until closer to 8 o'clock, or until the volatility dies down, which it is starting to die down a little bit. You can see the ATR down below. It was at 20, 22. It's now at 17, 18. If it gets below 15, it's going to be moving kind of slow. So it's all good. Yeah, Dijon said he entered the PRB a little late, so we had to close out manually. Yeah, which is all good. But again, the only official entry that I'm taking myself is going to be the BV3, guys. So I'm not counting all these other wins, even though there's a bunch of wins here that could have been taken and that we did identify. I'm not going to count these trades. I'm just sticking to the BV3, and that's where the results are coming from. But if you guys want to take anything else, there's a ton of different entries here that are available for you guys to take. Yeah, Daniel over here said that the NPS hit, momentum pullback scalp, but he didn't take it because it was flashing momentum. I think it was right at the sessions too, right? Yeah. Because it was like literally right at the sessions right here. Let's see, levels. Oh, this one right here, you're talking about the next one. Yeah, again, this would be right at the session, so it still would be one that I would personally avoid. So guys, if you just a reminder, if you guys are taking the regular scalps, like the 1030 scalps, you have to pay attention to the sessions here because sessions are going to be a key thing to prevent you from eating losses, right? If you guys are taking these 1030 scalps, they're good entries, but you have to be very careful and selective about which one you decide to take because it's not always going to be a smooth ride. So yeah, no other entries here other than that. Right now it's kind of just wait. So there's a V3 continuation pattern here, but this isn't a trade that we would take because we would take it in the direction of the trend. So the trend here is obviously bullish, and we wouldn't take this as a continuation. But if you wanted to take the original way, which didn't really care for the trend, you could have taken this here as a continuation, like Daniel said. I personally wouldn't take it because for one, it's at the sessions, and for two, it is, and that's another thing too, guys. Like you guys have to realize that like there's a lot more rules when you're taking the normal scalps because you have to account for the red flags. If you're just taking the BV3, there's no red flags because it's just the initial breakout. But for everything else, there's always going to be something there to like you're basically looking for reasons not to take a certain trade, right? Like if there's any reason not to take a certain trade for these 1030 scalps, then that'd be perfect reason not to take it. Again, right here, there's a V1 variation. There's a V1 variation setting up right here, but it's right at the session. So you wouldn't take this trade, but this here would be an actual entry for a V1 variation. So if anybody wants to take this as a V1, this here would be a V1 entry. I mean, it looks like a good setup. The only thing here is the sessions, right? The sessions is what would prevent me from taking this trade here. Also, as you guys can see, the ATR is starting to die down. It was at 20, it was at 18, 17, now it's at 16. And it's not exactly the volatility that you're looking for these scalps because you want price to kind of just spike to your TP right away, right? Which is not really happening here because the volatility is starting to die down a bit. But again, I wouldn't recommend taking this trade because it's right at the sessions. So you guys just got to keep in mind for the breakouts, there's no criteria. You can use it even though there's red flags. But if you're taking the normal scalps, you have to use the red flags. I mean, you don't have to, but for the most part, if you want to do things properly, you should be focusing on the red flags here because that's the main thing that's really going to save you from losses or unnecessary losses at least. Because the trades can very well hit. It's just, depending on what your on your risk appetite is. For me, I don't typically like to lose if I'm taking these scalps, especially because you're doing a negative risk reward. You want to just like look for one or two quality entries and then wrap it up for the most part. But all right, there's no movement here. The V1 variation is still technically running at the moment. No other entries here. So it looks like if price pushes up here, it might be pushing up to the second touch for the liquidity. But it is not there yet. All right, so it looks like the V1 already hit. So the V1 that I marked up earlier, guys, it's already pushed up to its full TP right there. Obviously not one I would take, but I'd rather take this than a sell. I would obviously not take any sell there. All right, there's a pending buy signal. If the buy signal closes, this will technically be another pivot scalp entry. The other problem here again is the session. So you guys just have to understand that there's gonna be times here where you shouldn't take certain trades, even though they're a setup. I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't have taken it. Yeah, Nick said it could be a triple confluence if it closes past the higher high as well. Yeah, there's a lot of things here. It's just, but it's at the sessions. Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. You can see how price gets manipulated once it gets near the sessions, right? Whenever price is away from the sessions, you can see over here how price is not touching the sessions at all. It's going back and forth, right? It's moving. It has some volatility. As soon as price gets near the sessions right here, that's where you start to have problems, right? Because this is where manipulation happens at the sessions. So it's the main reason why we avoid trades at those specific areas and price points. But again, not really much here to look at. Yeah, I mean, it's really just a waiting game for price to get away from the sessions. But other than that, I mean, all the main entries have already played out and have hit. PRB, full TP, breakout V3 loss. Here's our clean chart. I guess if there's more structure here, I can draw. And it's pretty clear right here. You can see how the price is now consolidating around this area. This is now the support. And you can see there's just no direction here. So earlier we said price was in a range because it was ranging down here. Now price is just consolidating super slow. So not exactly the best area to look for some trades. Yeah, you can see prices just churning here. So if you guys don't know what churning is, it's when price just goes back and forth in consolidation and they're just waiting for more sellers or buyers to get on one side. They're basically luring traders at both ends, right? Market makers. And then as soon as there's enough traders on one side, they'll spike price up to stop everybody out, or they'll spike price in the opposite direction to stop everybody out as well. So it looks like price is attempting to cut back into the range. The range is down below here, like I said earlier. So I'll draw a structure right there. So this right here is the range, right? I don't know if there's any tool here where I can draw. Like this right here is the range. This right here is consolidation. So it's basically faking out. You can see right there, it dropped below and then it pulled right back up into this area. Then we go and price pull back into the range. We'll see right here if this ends up being if it becomes a fake out, because it might just be faked out, it might just swing right back into the consolidation. So this area here is consolidation, this area down here is the range. And you can see right there, it is faking out just like I said. And I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls right back into the consolidation and just goes back and forth again. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said might get a manipulated drop, then push back up. Yeah, it's because of the sessions for the most part, guys. You guys can see it's playing around at the sessions. So price comes up, comes back down, comes back up, comes down, fakes out, comes right back up. Again, and this is another reason why sessions should be avoided at all costs. All right, you guys can see the ATR is getting lower and lower. So, I mean, it's doing exactly what we anticipated. This is kind of what I said earlier. I said price is just going to get slower and slower and slower and just keep pushing up. There's a V1 variation here that just set up, like Maddie said. Thanks, Maddie, for the heads up. It is a double wick rejection right here. Pending buy signal. The only problem is that it's right at the sessions again. So the TP would have to be at the session, but it's like right there. Right. So odds of it working out are probably likely, but because it's at the sessions, it's probably going to get manipulated around the area and go back and forth. Level got knocked down a little bit right here. Nice. All right, so Daniel got his trade and he's done for the day. All right, let's take a look at the team profits for the day so far. So we have Kenneth over here. Kenneth just locked in another funded account. He has a total profit of 17,410 for the day. Nice work, Kenneth. It's a great profit right there. We have Maddie over here. Total profit of 3,600 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Maddie. Solid work there. Here's Dijon. Dijon locked in the total profit of 650 for the day. All wins there. Nice work, Dijon. And we have Daniel over here with a total profit of 13,025 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Daniel. So solid work, guys. As you guys can see, there's a lot of different opportunities here to take trades. There was a pivot scalp, momentum scalp. The PRV here hit full TP. The breakout V3 didn't play out. It lost. Pretty much all of the liquidities over here as well. And that's pretty much it for today. I mean, the volatility is very low. It's currently down to 14. So if there's any questions, guys, feel free to pop into the chat. I'm still going to stay on and watch some entries here. But if the market doesn't pick up around, like, say, closer to 7:30, then we're just going to wrap it up. There's no reason to be on here if there's no opportunities. You're kind of just forcing trades at that point. So we'll hang out for like maybe another 30 minutes or so. The volatility is going down, so I'm not really expecting much to happen. The reason why I'm not expecting much to happen is because there's no news today. So without there being news, there's not really much of a catalyst to push price up or down, right? It's just going to kind of go back and forth, and you're going to get a lot of consolidation, and it might move, but later on at like 8 o'clock when Fed Harker starts speaking, that's the only thing that we really have for today. For tomorrow morning, we have some news. We have global services PMI, which is inflation news, and global composite PMI as well, also inflation news at 6:45. Again, at 7 o'clock, we have ISM services PMI, so some more inflation news right there. Factory orders at 7 o'clock, TIPP economic optimism at 7 o'clock. So tomorrow we actually have a lot of news coming up throughout our live session. On Wednesday, we have pre-market news, ADP employment change, those job openings. This is going to indicate how many job openings have come up in January. And then we have Federal Chair Powell speaking at 7 o'clock. So tomorrow, Wednesday is actually going to be a huge, huge day with news. We have Powell speaking. It's going to be super tricky. Thursday, a lot of news as well. Jobless claims. This is NFP week, so we're expecting a lot of the jobless job news to come out and provide some gauge as to where the market's currently sitting for this month. And of course, on Friday, we have NFP. So we got a lot of news coming up after today. It's just today's going to be a little bit of a slow day because of obvious reasons. There's no news today. So until Powell speaks at 8 o'clock, you're probably going to get a back and forth movement. As you guys can see from down below, the ATR is now even lower. It's down to 13 now. So it's pretty flat. Jay's asking, just got on, bro. Did you take any trades? Well, there's a lot of trades that came up. There's a pivot scalp, there's a momentum scalp, the PRV over here hit full TP. The breakout V3 is the one that I took, but it didn't hit TP. It got stopped out. This is the only trade that lost. So the only trade that lost today was the BV3. Everything else pretty much hit. Momentum scalp, pivot scalp, PRV, and liquidity got hit as well. So a lot of people here did make profit, but I didn't make profit today because I only took the BV3. And I take this with full risk for the day. So that's all I pretty much take. I mean, otherwise, if you took any of these other trades. So the thing is, I would take these other trades here, but it's kind of difficult to switch between your ATM. So like for me, I already have it set at like a certain risk, and I'd rather take less trades. So I just take one trade, and if it wins or loses, that's just what I'm taking for the day. Versus me taking like 5 or 10 trades and then kind of balancing out at the end of the day. So for me personally, I'm okay with taking just one trade a day because I do know that the strategy has a pretty good win rate. So I don't have to really worry too much about missing a trade or catching a trade late or anything like that. So that's pretty much all I'm taking. But other than that, back to these charts here. So there's nothing else coming up here at the moment. Price is now dropping back into the range, as you guys can see, but the ATR is still very low. ATR is still at 13, so there's not too much going on here. Slow day for the most part. I mean, the volatility was pretty decent here on open. I was hoping the volatility would continue, but the volatility just got lower and lower as we continued on with the session. So there's no liquidity here yet until price climbs back up, or unless price wants to come back down to this lower area down here. Opening price is right there. Yeah, there's not really too much here to look at. But again, guys, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Just a reminder, guys, to you guys that are part of the mentoring group. So we're now switching off to meetings once a week instead of every day. So the next mentoring session is scheduled for Friday, I believe. If you guys want to have it on a different day, just let me know. But I'll pop into the mentoring session chat to remind you guys. But yeah, I mean, everybody in the mentoring group looks pretty good for the most part. A lot of you guys are getting funded. A lot of you guys are getting payouts. And you guys are on a pretty solid track. So there's not really too much of a need to meet every day anymore, since I'm only taking one trade. So there's not really too much to review. But just take note, guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop into the chat here. Or if you guys want to wait for the actual mentoring session, just take note of the timestamp for the entry that you want to review, and we'll cover that stuff in detail when it comes time. So we got some more profits over here from Nikki. Nikki logged in 170 per account. She has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 accounts. So well over 800 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Nikki. And then Drew over here as well. So high birthday to Drew here. It's his birthday today. He took a stupid loss earlier, a small loss, and then he recouped it right here on his wins. So huge wins over here on his other accounts. He has 6,481 on his 2 counts down here. So that's 12,000. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 12,000 plus 8, that's 20,000 minus 2,000 there. He made about 18,000 for the day on his funded accounts. Nice work, Drew. So solid profits right there. We have Eunice over here as well. Total profit of 763 for the day. All wins. Nice work, Eunice. Yeah, the BV3 from this morning, if you guys weren't here for this actual entry, I kind of had a feeling this trade wasn't going to play through because we were looking for a buy. We were actually looking for this tip to come up here and provide us opportunity for a buy, but the trade did come up. So because the trade came up, I had to take it because that's the only way to take a strategy as it's supposed to be taken. I can't skip trades because if this trade would have won, then it would have thrown off my results for the week. So I'm taking every trade that comes up as long as it meets criteria. So I mean, it's all good. Sometimes it happens, right? It goes against your analysis, and then you still got to take it because that's the strategy. Oh yeah, I know, Drew. You said dead now, good for the day. Got his birthday profits. Yeah, now you can chill out. Solid. Let's see what else we got over here. Let's go over to the mentoring group. So here's Nikki's trades for the week so far, for the month so far. Yeah, you're doing pretty good, Nikki. 3 wins, 1 loss, 75% win ratio. Pretty solid. I do over here all wins for the month so far. Great work, guys. All right, Van Harbeck. We'll see you back here tomorrow. What am I missing here? I think I updated my results over here. Let's see. So we got March 1st. So today's March 4th, 3, 4, 24. I'll just update this now so that we have this here. I just realized I didn't put a timestamp on this. 6:41. One, this was for a sell, loss -25, BB3. All right, so For the month of March so far, guys, I'm at break even. So I just took one trade on Friday, which was a win. Took one trade today, which was a loss, and I'm at break even for the month of March so far. So you guys can see over here, I'm only taking the BB3. You guys will see the results kind of just update as we continue along with the trading month, of course. Yeah, at the moment, there's just nothing for us here to really add to it. I mean, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to pop into the chat. There's not really any entries here because the volatility is so low. It's just getting lower and lower. It's now at 12. So, I mean, the ATR is getting lower and lower, so as you guys can see. It's not getting any better. So if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to pop in. I'm willing to help with whatever you guys need help with. But for the most part, I'll keep looking for entries, but it's not looking like we're going to get anything here. The liquidity is super far away, so we're not really going to get liquidity anytime soon. Like this liquidity is done with. For the future touch, you'd have to come back up here, but the volatility is so low at 12. I'm not really expecting price to climb up this high, right? It's going to have to climb up pretty heavy for it to get to that liquidity level up there. Or if it wants to come down here, it's also going to drop pretty far before it gets to those points. So there's no liquidity coming up. Here's our clean chart. So we got structure right here. This is the 1 minute support. So you guys can see the range is just getting tighter. So there's a clean chart. This could be another pivot scalp entry for anybody who's looking to take a pivot scalp. It's not really looking too great because the volatility is so low. You can see the momentum there just disappears. So if this closes with the buy signal, this is technically a pivot scalp entry, but again, it's not exactly moving very volatile enough for you to take these trades here because you're trying to scalp. So you want it to hit right away, which is probably not going to hit right away, or probably not even going to come up. So no buy signal there. And now it's pretty much flat. Yeah, Nick said break even, been a struggle alive last month. I know, literally. But he said it's better to have break even than blowing accounts. Yeah, and I agree 100%. So last month we were taking both the breakout V3 and the PRB. We were still in profit. So I did make profit last month for February, but it wasn't like anything heavy because the win-loss ratio was like pretty much flat. So we did have some profit, but it was mostly break even for most of the days. For this month, hopefully I'm expecting it to be a lot higher because we're only taking one entry with like higher risk or just regular risk, not higher risk, but the risk in combined of the two entries. So, this month is going to go back and forth a lot. We're going to have a lot of back and forth where it's going to be a win, loss, win, loss, win, 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 maybe loss. And that's what I'm waiting for because I'm hoping that we have more volatility and more direction with the rest of the trading here, of course, right? So once we have that, I'm going to be looking for those hot streaks. Because the hot streaks are going to come up. It's just a matter of time until they do. So we'll see what happens, when time comes. iPhone is asking, what is the future symbol equivalent to US30 to trade during European session? No, DAX is that's the Euro index. Like US30 is US30. It's the same thing. It's YM. There's no other name for YM. YM is the same thing that. Yeah, exactly. DAX is a German index. So it's that's currency. DAX is the European index, I think, or I don't know if it's EXY. DXY is the dollar index. Those are all currencies. If you want to trade currencies, you can still trade the currency future, which would be that. It would be JXY would be the Asia one if you want to trade it in a say. But if you're looking for US30, it's going to be the same thing as YM. It doesn't change. YM still moves in the afternoon, guys. So I mean, if you look over here, it's still YM. So if you're trading this in during Asia session, it's going to be slow. I mean, if anything, you probably want to trade NQ. NQ is Nasdaq. That thing actually moves during Asia session. So if you want to trade an Asia session, NQ is probably your better option. You can see over here that it still moves like throughout the day, even at night. But you shouldn't trade NQ unless you know how to trade NQ, right? So just because it's moving doesn't mean it's something you should trade. You shouldn't just trade it just because. But you can see that NQ moves all throughout the day, especially Asia session. So if you want to trade, um, one of these types of assets, like during Asia session, would be NQ. If you want to trade futures, you can too. I mean, if you want to trade DXY, which is the dollar index, I mean, like you said, DAX is or no, sorry, DAX is you're right. I got that mixed up. DAX actually is the German index, but like you wouldn't like if you're gonna trade DAX, it would be. I'm trying to think what would be the thing for it. Sorry, I got DAX confused with the currency, which is I think EXY, but I'm not sure what the DAX index is. So let's see, German index, future. I guess it would just be DAX futures. Um, I guess it would just be DAX. I don't know. It doesn't have I don't even know if they're all. I mean, there's DAX futures, but it's not like I guess it would just be DAX. But you can see there's no movement for DAX, so I wouldn't necessarily trade DAX because DAX isn't similar. It's not like US30 or NQ. Like you got to think about DAX. There's not like that many stocks in Germany that are going to move the market, right? There's like Germany is such a small country compared to the US. If you were to trade something DAX, you should probably just trade like the individual stock, right? If you want to trade like BMW or Porsche or something like that, like a car company or whatever. I'm not familiar with a DAX stocks because obviously we don't trade them. But yeah, DAX is so small. It's not something you should necessarily trade like that. So I've never traded DAX. I've looked at it, but I've never really traded it because the volume is not there. And I think there's just not enough volume or the volatility would be too slow. So people just wouldn't trade it. Yeah, Andrew said just don't trade all day. YM, yeah, exactly. I mean, there's like no reason to really trade all day like that. If you want to trade something during Asia, or you want to trade something during London or whatever it may be, it would be NQ or it would be gold, right? GC. Those are the two main ones that you would trade because that has volatility all throughout the day. It's not necessarily a good idea to trade them because it's not for everybody. But if you were to trade them, that'd be what I'd probably recommend. All right, so there's a breakout V3 continuation right here. I don't know if anybody caught this, but it came up super quick. There was a pivot scalp, momentum scalp, breakout V3 continuation, and we're starting to get some heavy volatility right here as well. There's also a high level momentum scalp. There's actually a lot of entries that came up right here, guys, off this buy signal. I mean, they're not entries that I would have taken, but if you wanted to take them. So this buy signal right here had a lot of different entries that are lined up on it. This was a pivot scalp because there was a buy signal that was above the pivots. This was also a momentum scalp because there was a buy signal, the trend meter was green. This was also a high level momentum scalp because there was a lower low right here. The buy signal broke and closed past pivots 1 and 2. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. And then it pretty much just escalated. And also this was a breakout V3 continuation because there was a buy signal and then it was followed by a green candle right here, which kind of lined it up for like maybe 4 or 5 different entries off 1 or 2 candles right here, right back to back. And then it pushed right back up to liquidity, or not yet, almost pushed up almost to liquidity, but it got caught over here at the sessions and now it's coming back down, of course. So yeah, Maddie said there was no V1 before, so he decided not to take it. Yeah, I would have done the same thing. So you guys can see how the market's kind of tricky, right? It'll be super slow, and then you'll just get one random candle that kind of pushes the price up. They pretty much churned price here. They pretty much went back and forth. They made people think that price was coming down, and then it faked out, went straight back up to where it was supposed to go. So this is why it's a little tricky when you trade during low volatility, because if you know the direction of price, if we already knew price was going to be bullish, it kind of just lured sellers into the market right here because it made people think that price was going to dump, and then it just shot right back up. So that's pretty much what happened there. Price is almost at liquidity. It's not there yet, but yeah, if it does hit that upper level of liquidity, it's probably going to blast through. Just from what I see here, it's on its way up. It's rejecting off the pivots right here, but again, it's right at the session, so not exactly the best opportunity right there. Yeah, so Rashida said there's also an equal high up there on the 1 minute. It's looking to knock out. Yeah, so that's good. That's a good confluence right there. So Rashida mentioned that there is an equal high. That's kind of close up to like where the liquidity is sitting, which I can see it's kind of lined up with our higher high up here as well. Um, So yeah, I mean, price probably make its way up there, and that can be the liquidity that you guys are looking for. However, like I said earlier, the volatility is still very low. So I mean, price might just go sideways here and just have some snail movement up until 8 o'clock. Because the volatility didn't pick up, it just had that random spike. It was just one big candle here. It's one big candle that pushed price up. Everything else is still pretty flat. So back to our clean chart. So you can see the range right here. It's going back to what we just discussed earlier. So this is a consolidation area right here. Price came down to a range, and now it's back at a consolidation. So what do you think is going to happen here? Price is just going to go sideways for a very long time. Probably not going to expect too much here. There goes price pushes up. It's pushing up to that level of liquidity right there. Again, guys, I'm not taking any of these trades. I'm pretty much done for the day. I just took my one trade and I'm done. I don't have any. I don't have any more margin for me to risk. Well, I mean, technically I do, but then screenshot this real quick. I do have margin risk, but I'm not going to risk it because it's going to mess up my P&L for the week. So I'm just keeping it even Steven, and I'll just look out for any other entries here. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to pop into the chat. Again, there's nothing for us to take here at the moment. We will continue looking for entries here, but there's just nothing to take at the moment. Yeah, CJ said the momentum pullback scalp hit, but it was near the session. So looking back over here at our main chart, there was a buy signal right there, price pushed up. Turning on the levels right here. So price came up right here, it retraced. The entry would have happened right here for the momentum pullback scalp. But again, just like what CJ said, it was right at the session. So unfortunately, it'd be something that would have been skipped. Like that's probably one of the biggest things here, the sessions, because you get a lot of manipulation around there and you don't want to take trades because it's going to throw you off, of course. So looking at this here, price is back into its range. And it's just, or not range consolidation. It's not really doing too much. But you guys can see how the structure here is marked up. this is why I like drawing support resistance, because it never really misses, right? As long as you can identify proper support resistance, you can really identify market structure pretty well. So, looking at this here, I just drew basic support resistance off the higher highs and lower lows using the high-low indicator. And you guys can see how perfect the story looks, right? It kind of gives you a storyline of like what's happening. Like market opened right here, pushed up, came back down right here for a big range. Then it went into consolidation, pulled back into a range right here, and then back again into consolidation right here. So it's helpful if you guys can do it. It does help a lot. So we have Johnny over here. Johnny logged in a total profit of 13,000 for the day. All wins on his apex. Nice work, Johnny. Solid profits right there. And then we have Ross over here, total profit of 942 per account. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 accounts. So well over 20,000 over here for Ross. Great work, Ross. All wins. We have Shannon over here, total profit of 440, all wins as well. We had Alicia, she had one small loss for 300 and a win for 1,805. So she's in total profit of like well over 1,500 for the day. Nice work, Alicia. And lastly, we have Andreas over here. He took a loss earlier with the breakout B3, recouped some of that loss, but he's still down for the day so far. So it's all good. I'm at a loss right now too, but it's all good because tomorrow, if the breakout V3 hits, I'll be back to break even. And then hopefully for the rest of the week, it'll just continue to hit as we get closer and closer to NFP, and then hopefully pushing back into profit like it did last week. Like last week, I was kind of surprised because I wasn't really following the profits. I was just kind of bummed out because we were taking some break-even days. But looking at my profits from last week, it actually played out very well because we had a plus net win for the day, or like a one net win and profit on top of that. So the whole week was kind of crappy, like in the beginning, right? Like last week, I had what was last week? Yeah, so last week we started off with a loss. So I started off with some break-even days over here. Just like this week, started off with a break-even day because I took both the PRB and the breakout V3. And then the next day was another break-even day, which is kind of annoying because I just stayed at break-even for the whole week. And then on this day, I just started taking just one entry, just the breakout V3. We had a win, of course. And then on Friday, we had another win. So we had a 1.5 net win. And I ended the week with 30,000 in profit. So I'm hoping this week kind of ends up like that. Took the loss on the first day, and then I'm just kind of waiting through for this here to swing back up. So unfortunately, took a loss for the day. I will here. Let me see. Put this over here. I'll post it up in a little bit. I'm gonna take a screenshot of my Ninja Trader, but I have to log back in. But yeah, guys, back to the charts over here. There's not really much going on. So if there's any question that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat, but there's just no entries here to take at the moment. Even if there were entries, they typically end up being around the sessions right here, which is not a good area to trade in. Also, the volatility here has not picked up since. It's now even lower. It's at 10. So there's no need to force any trades right now, guys. If you guys are looking for something, I'd probably just wait until tomorrow when the volatility picks back up. But the volatility is very low right now. Anything below 15 is typically an area where you don't want to be trading in because it's just a little too low and you might get caught in some fake outs. Also, if you're trading with low volatility at the sessions, you can get spiked out. Like price can easily just like reverse on you when you least expect it. You're not getting any smooth moves down or smooth moves up. You're kind of just getting spikes of random candles when you least expect them. Kind of similar to this one right here. Like this one would have been in your favor if you were looking to take a buy. But a lot of times, this could just be happening opposite of you. So for example, right here, you can see how price is dumping. This is probably luring in some sellers, and then it might just go sideways for a bit and then spike back up, right? So you just don't want to get caught in those traps, especially when the volatility is super low. So if there's any other questions, guys, feel free to put them in the chat. It's getting closer to 8 o'clock and the volatility isn't picking up. So as I mentioned earlier, once we get past like 7:30, if the volatility doesn't pick up, we're just going to wrap it up. Because I don't want you guys to be, I don't want you guys to get FOMO. I think that's a big problem with a lot of people, right? You've been sitting on the chart for like an hour and a half and you just want to get into that last trade. And I don't want you guys to be in that position where you think like something's going to happen and then it doesn't. And then you end up getting caught with a loss at the very end of the session when you could have just wrapped it up. So, all right, guys, I think this is it for the day. If there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to pop into the chat right now. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up for the day. The volatility is not picking up. And I don't want you guys to be trading around this area here where the session is at, because there's going to be a lot of fake outs that may happen. If you guys do decide to continue trading, then keep in mind that the Fed is speaking at 8 o'clock. So you might want to wait until a little bit after they're done speaking for you to start trading, because if you trade around this time, the volatility might pick up, but it might not pick up in the fashion that you'd like it to. It's probably going to go back and forth in a big range. CJ's asking what time is the mentoring session. So there's no mentoring session today. We're now in the second month, CJ. So there's no longer mentoring sessions every day. Mentoring sessions are happening weekly now. So the next mentoring session is on Friday, where it's determined to be on Friday. But if you guys want me to have it at an earlier time, we can have it at an earlier time, like on a Thursday or a Wednesday. But for the most part, we're pretty much just waiting for the end of the week so that we can review everything all at once. So there's no mentoring session today, but the next mentoring session is scheduled for Friday. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. The ATR is very low. It's probably a good time to just call it a day, come back tomorrow fresh, and then recoup any profits that you guys left on the table, or come back for a swing back in profit, hopefully for the breakout V3. So, all right, guys, that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the next